So here's a question for you. Why is it that you can send an email to the other side of the world in a blink of an eye, but sending money can take days and cost a small fortune? It's because the world's financial system is running on ancient technology. Think of it like trying to stream a 4K movie on dial-up internet. It's painfully slow and shockingly expensive. This system is known as SWIFT. It was built back in the 70s and it relies on a messy web of banks that essentially owe each other money all over the globe. The result? Bottlenecks, crazy fees, and frustrating delays. But what if there was a technology built from the ground up to fix that? To make money move as fast as email? In this video, we're going to break down exactly what XRP is, how it's designed to solve massive real-world problems in simple terms that anyone can understand. We'll cover what it is, how it works, and why. Let's get into it. So first of all, you're going to hear two names thrown around, Ripple and XRP. But are they the same thing? No. And the easiest way to think about it is like Ripple is the company and XRP is the currency. Think of it like Apple and the iPhone. Apple is the tech company building stuff and the iPhone is basically the product that makes everything happen. In the same way, Ripple is a private fintech company based in the US and its mission is to build a new modern global payment network for banks and financial institutions. XRP is the independent digital asset, the cryptocurrency, that can be used on the network to make the payments happen instantly. So what is this new highway Ripple's building? It's a global payments network called RippleNet. To get why RippleNet is such a big deal, let's use another analogy. Imagine the current international payment system is like an old rusty plumbing in a giant historical building. To get water from one side to the other, it has to snake through a maze of narrow pipes with tons of leaky junctions. It's slow, inefficient, and you lose a ton of water along the way, which in the financial world means high fees and delays. RippleNet is like a team of expert plumbers ripping out all of that old junk and installing a brand new state-of-the-art system. Instead of confusing web of pipes, it's a single unified network where every member is connected directly. The network includes a large number of banks and payment providers with well-known names like Santander and SBI Holdings counted among their partners. This allows them to send payment messages to each other instantly. But RippleNet on its own is just a messaging system. It tells bank A to send money to bank B. The real magic, the thing that makes the money move itself in seconds, is when they use XRP. This is where a service called on-demand liquidity comes in, and it's the heart of XRP's power. XRP is basically the bridge currency. Let's say you want to send $100 to your friend in Mexico, but they need it in Mexican pesos. In the old system, your US bank has to find a Mexican bank it has a relationship with. This often involves multiple middlemen banks, each taking a cut, adding days to the process. To make this work, banks have to have an account that's pre-funded with the money all over the world, literally just sitting there tied up doing absolutely nothing. But with Ripple's on-demand liquidity service, the process is completely different. Your bank doesn't need pre-funded account full of pesos. Instead, this all happens in just a few seconds. The $100 are instantly converted into XRP. That XRP is then sent across the XRP ledger, basically the blockchain that powers it, into an exchange in Mexico. This takes about 3 to 5 seconds. The XRP is then instantly converted into Mexican pesos and deposited into your friend's account. XRP acts as a universal translator for value, bridging any two currencies. It doesn't matter if you're going from dollars to pesos, euros to yen, or pounds to baht. By using XRP as the middleman, banks and payment providers don't have to tie up billions in pre-funded accounts anymore. They can get liquidity on demand whenever they need it. This frees up their capital, slashes their costs, and settles payments almost instantly. Now that you get the how, let's talk about the why. Why is this such a game changer? Well, it really boils down to these three things. Firstly is the speed, obviously. As we've said, transactions on the XRP ledger settle in 3 to 5 seconds, compared to the 3 to 5 business days of traditional wire transfers. The XRP ledger has a theoretical capacity over 1,500 transactions per second. Though real-world performance is typically lower, it's still built for massive institutional level demand. So second is the cost. A transaction on the XRP ledger costs a tiny fraction of a penny. Even when the network gets busy, the fees are designed to stay ridiculously low. This is a world away from the hefty fees of the old banking system, which can eat up a huge chunk of the money that you're sending. It makes tiny payments or micro payments not just possible, but actually practical. Third, and this is the big one, real world use. Unlike so many cryptos that are still basically a solution looking for a problem, XRP was built for payments from the start. Ripple has active partnerships with financial institutions all over the world who are currently using the technology. This isn't just a theory on a whiteboard, it's a system being actively used by the very institutions it was designed for. And guys, just before we get into the really important part of the video, if you're finding this breakdown helpful and you're starting to see the bigger picture, do me a favor and hit the like button if you want to keep learning about crypto finance in simple, no-nonsense terms. Make sure you subscribe. It helps the channel a ton and you won't miss what's coming next. So what's actually happening under the hood that makes the XRP ledger so fast and so cheap? It all comes down to its unique consensus mechanism. Most people have heard of Bitcoin's proof of work, where miners use warehouses full of computers to solve complex problems. That's what makes Bitcoin secure, but also makes it slow and an energy hog. A single Bitcoin transaction can use as much power as a house does in weeks. The XRP ledger uses a totally different approach. There's no mining. Instead, it uses a consensus protocol where a group of independent, trusted servers called validators quickly cross-check and agree on which transactions are valid. Think of it like a team of super efficient notaries who all have to stamp a document at the same time for it to be legit. If they all agree, the transaction is confirmed in seconds. This is not only incredibly fast, but also incredibly green. And in 2025, the XRP ledger ecosystem is getting a major upgrade. An EVM-compatible sidechain has just launched. EVM stands for Ethereum Virtual Machine, which is the engine behind most smart contracts and decentralized apps. By adding this sidechain, developers can now build things like DeFi applications and tokenized assets using familiar tools, all while connected to the XRP ledger. On this sidechain, XRP is used as the native token to pay for transaction fees, expanding its utility far beyond just being a bridge currency. So let's pull it all together. The system for moving money around the world is old and broken. Ripple, the company, built a modern network called RippleNet to fix it. To power that network, the digital asset XRP can be used as a super efficient bridge currency, letting payments settle in 3 to 5 seconds for practically nothing. XRP isn't trying to be a digital gold like Bitcoin. It's not trying to be a world computer. It's a specialized tool built to do one thing exceptionally well: make value move as fast and as freely as information. In a world that gets more global and more digital every single day, solving that problem is one of the biggest opportunities in modern finance. And that's XRP from the ground up. Hopefully that cleared up things and gave you a solid foundation. What are your biggest questions about XRP or the future of digital payments? Drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear. I'll see you guys in the next video.